to another episode of And Here We Are.
Yeah, we're
Episode
back.
14.
14.
Yeah.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Time is flying, right?
Yeah, 14. That's not bad, not bad.
That was a good age, too. I think, maybe.
Yeah, that me do.
Right. So today we're going to talk about trauma, and how it affects your life. I mean, sometimes we talk about things and in no way are we authorities on anything. We're just giving you our straight from the hip opinions and, experiences.
Yeah.
So don't think that we're giving you guys any guidance. We don't want to hear you say, well, I did, you said, blah, blah.
I don't have any letters after my name. So
Exactly.
I'm an authoritative person. I don't have any degrees in that. Well, I have degrees.
Right.
Not in therapy or anything like that. But, our experiences are our experiences. And, when we started this, it was like, we're just going to share our life and our opinions and our experiences with everybody. And, if we throw it to the wall and it sticks, cool. If it slides down, that's cool too. You know what? We're fine. We're fine with that.
Right.
So, what do we got?
So to start with, I just want to kind of go into what the different types of trauma are. So there are a lot of them, but like some of the most common ones, acute trauma. This is the type of trauma that results from like a single distressing or dangerous event, like a car accident. Chronic trauma, it results from prolonged stressors like abuse or bullying. And generational trauma, that's the trauma that's been passed down through families or communities. So, which one of those three trauma groups, if not all of them, do you think
Which one do you think? Which one, if not all three, do you think? That
all three.
I'm gonna say all of them.
All of them.
All of them.
All of them. Definitely
all
all three. I've had acute trauma. I've had car accidents, and the trauma of being in a car accident is one, surviving it and all that. But I still find myself like being overly cautious when I drive because it's a trauma.
I triggered you when I was driving like that. I get it.
Anyway,
I get it.
we won't go there. But yeah, so yes. I find myself being overly cautious, and that's a trauma that I experienced. I had an accident. It wasn't my fault. Somebody hit me. So I'm overly cautious when I'm driving. I don't think I haven't been bullied, and no abuse, but I don't know if I was the abuser. What are we talking about? No, I'm just kidding. I've never abused anybody. I've never been abused.
That didn't deserve it. I'm just saying.
Facts. That's why y'all know. She already know. And generational trauma, I think that we all have it in ways that you might not even realize that you're having it affect you.
Yeah.
Through community, just through like cultural. Those are generational traumas that ideals that maybe one culture passes down to their kids or instills upon the society. Those are generational traumas. So how do you think that trauma affects people on a daily basis? Like,
listen, it could be as simple as if growing up as a kid you heard yelling all of the time and arguing and fighting.
right. So that's a chronic trauma for you.
Yeah, like on an everyday basis for me, watch your mouth. Watch how you talk to me. You know what I mean?
Lower your tone.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Right.
Talk in lower cases to me. Don't capitalize.
Take those
anything.
exclamation points out of your voice.
Like, don't say any of that stuff to me. Don't
Right.
watch how you talk to me. So I know what my triggers and traumas are, and that's one of them. Like, it's definitely it impacts you because just again on your everyday basis, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going minding my business and going to the grocery store, and somebody feel as though they can talk to me reckless or whatever, that might take me back, or they just start screaming at me.
Right.
That might take me back to like when I remember being a kid, like going, like, man,
Flinching when you hear that.
you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to hear all of that, or listen and it's like, what? Do I got to jump in? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's either fight or
Take
flight.
me in, coach.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, which is it?
Right.
So, and for me, and I know that has carried into relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Just watch how you talk to me. So it goes into your everyday just easily, and you don't even seamlessly, and you don't even realize it.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes you have to sit back and you have to think, damn, why did I act like that?
Right.
Did I
acted a pure fool.
Did I do too much?
For what reason? Yes.
Did I do
Yes.
too much, or did I not do enough?
You did too much. I'm absolutely sure you did.
No, or did I not do enough?
Uh-huh.
I'm just saying.
Enough. If you did enough, that's criminal. So you did.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, it impacts it just impacts your daily, your everyday, your mental, and things that you don't even realize.
So how does that show up? That shows up as, like you said, like,
Yeah, don't yell at me.
flinching. Like, when I say it shows up, like, how does that show up? How you react to certain situations, how you respond to certain things.
It's like all of the above.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it just, okay, let's rewind. Exactly. To when I was younger.
Uh-huh.
That showed up as me being a lot more aggressive
Mm-hmm.
than what I am now. It showed up into you.
More than you are now?
Don't do that. Don't
Don't do what?
don't do that.
What? I'm concerned.
How dare you?
I am concerned that the level of aggression.
You said I was hot headed.
You said you wasn't.
I said I wasn't. Not now.
Are you sure about that?
Then
We gonna
I don't need to
agree
look
to
so you
disagree.
over there. But you know what I'm saying? Like younger, that showed up to me if somebody yelled at me and did that. That showed very me, like aggressive, more aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
That showed up in me yelling back. That showed up in me
You were defending
fighting.
yourself.
Yeah, like
You
I
on the defense.
automatically went into like my central nervous system automatically was like went up like on high alert. And I'm like, what
The hairs on your spine
You know what I'm saying?
bristled up like a dog, right?
Yeah, like what the hell? What's your danger hairs? What's it called? A dog? Your danger hairs? Like it automatically, I was like, ooh.
Right. So that shows up today. Like, do you still have that
No,
same knee
what?
reflex?
Nah,
reaction?
man. What it shows up? Well, you want to show how it
Yes,
shows up
that was
today?
a question. How does it show up today?
Today, I'd be like, facts. I'll just be like, all right, cool. And I exit, and I say nothing.
How did you get from that
Growth.
point to this? Okay.
Growth. And the
Did you-
fact that
did you-
I'm older, like I don't want to feel that. I don't want to feel that aggression.
Angst.
Yeah, I don't ever want to feel that. And I knew from then to now, I'm the one that has control over that feeling.
Okay.
I'm the one that's either I'm gonna crack you over like right between your eyes, or I'm gonna just be like, I'm gonna tip my hat and I'm gonna bow out gracefully.
So was there an event?
What do you mean?
Was there an event that you had to reflect and say, okay, yeah, I need to stop responding the way you used to. You know what I'm saying? Like, was there an event that you can speak of? Because again, the names are being changed in all our stories to protect the guilty. Always remember that. Always remember that. Just in general, do you know? It could be a yes or no. Like, yes, I know that X, Y, Z happened, and I realized,
I know a couple,
I think I know where you're going with that. And we won't talk about it, but I get it.
Like,
but
I
you
know-
realize you had gone too far.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, because
Uh-huh.
I don't know if she.
Right, yeah, don't we?
I'm like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, it's a couple. She knew about this one. She did know about this one when you guys were younger. Your dad came to pick you up, and I was just like,
Right.
she still
I
talked
lost
about
my
this.
Skittles lip balm.
Yeah, she still was like, I was so traumatized. I lost my skill lip balm. Like he came to, again, we're really good friends now, but he came to pick them up, and I thought I was like, he hadn't been drinking them. I'm like, didn't I get in the car with you? So there was not physically fighting, but we were arguing out in front of my house. And then I think the neighbors had called the cop, and I remember picking up like around my tree outside with those paver things that you use to like the stones that
right.
you. I remember picking up a stone, and I was gonna like bust him in his head, and I was just like, and he was saying, he's like, hit me. I was just like,
Say less.
you want to get hit?
Say less.
Me. Yeah, and then they was like, she's like, you fooled me. And then the kids, they were younger. I don't know, like maybe 7 and 8 and 9, somewhere around there. I don't know. That's when it was kind of like we really was still tumultuous or whatever. And I realized that he was like egging me on, like, go ahead and hit me. And I'm like, something in me was like, don't do it. Don't do it. And I put it down, and I was trying to keep the kids out of the car, and he was like, no. And they like went in, and like the cops came and everything was cleared up or whatever. But it was at that moment
I realized
that I realized, yo, I could have went to jail. That was the time was the time before that I realized I was like, ooh, I gotta
chill.
I really, and that's when I was like, but that looked like that showed up in seeing what I had saw growing up.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like that's
it was
what
familiar to you.
That's what that showed up at.
Kind of regressed right into that behavior.
Easily.
Like, wait.
And I regressed into it, and I got so violent so easily because, and plus I like you being provoked, and I'm thinking I'm also protecting my kids. So then there was an instinctual thing as a mom to feel like, yeah, I gotta protect my kids. But traumas and triggers are man, I'll tell you.
So what about, do you think that kind of, it's not the same thing, but what about friendships? Like, do you think that kind of, I mean, your friend shouldn't be talking to you recklessly, but...
You know nobody be talking to me recklessly.
Okay.
Ask anybody who's talking to me recklessly. Oh, you can't because they not have access to my life anymore. But you can't ask that. You know what I mean? Like...
And on that note...
like, you can't... And this is... Again, we talked about on the other episode, like, boundaries.
Right.
And negotiables and non-negotiables.
Mm-hmm.
And you have these lines that you draw in the sand. And let me tell you, those lines that I draw in the sand aren't for my protection, they're for yours. People don't understand that. They're not for my protection. They are for yours.
It's loud and clear.
So if I tell you, friendship, relationship, workship, anybody, be respectful in the way that you talk to me. Because I'm going to be really respectful in the way that I talk to you. And I don't expect anything, facts, until I don't expect anything less.
Right.
So those boundaries, so you decide to like, here's the line. And you decide to...
You gonna scooch your
You know what I'm
toe
saying?
and push the line back.
You know what I'm saying? You're going to decide to try to tiptoe around it. Or let me put my little toe in and see what happens. And then I bring it back.
Right.
Oh, that wasn't too bad. So then what happens when you don't react too bad, it's not that bad. So then people try to push that envelope and push your boundaries.
Of course.
I'm very firm on the way that someone talks to me and treats me, and I'm big on respect. Mm-hmm. I'm big on that, and that encompasses your actions, and that encompasses your verbal, your verbal and your physical. Like I'm big on that.
Listen.
You don't get to disrespect me and feel like you can still have that same access to me. Now you lose that.
Right.
And again, I've realized that's from
Your
growing up and wanting to be like, I just want to leave. Like, you shouldn't have this. Like, but as a kid, you can't leave that environment.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Running away.
Yeah, like, yo, I couldn't go no place. Like, you sitting there going, damn, I really
feel helpless.
Yeah, as a kid, like, I'm in this environment I don't want to be here, but I don't. But
But
where
I
could I?
see
Yeah,
that.
exactly. Like where could
You
kinda
can't do
where can I
anything
go?
about the situation.
Yeah, yeah.
So like, does this childhood trauma, does it affect the way you date?
Yet. Absolutely.
Okay.
Like, and we've had discussions about you like women tend to date the people who are like their fathers. Like, even if you don't consciously do it, you subconsciously do it. And I
Right.
found that like with the exes, I'm like, yo, like there was some things that I saw them do, or how they were kind of like very domineering or not listening and that type of things, and their way is their way, and it's like these double standards and all these things that my dad did like growing up, that my mom was like, no, you can't have these, just because she's a girl and he's a boy, like you can't have these double standards, or trying to get somebody, always fighting to get someone to see your way. And like it grows tired, and then I realized, I stopped and I look back, I'm like, wow, that's kind of,
That's what you was doing in your relationship.
yeah. And I was just like, yeah, we're not doing that. I
So
can't
what
do
do you
it.
think? Because if these things were traumatic, and I'm asking the questions, if these things were traumatic, why would you bond to these people?
Trauma bond. I mean, I guess it is a
That's what I'm
trauma.
gonna say.
Yeah,
Is
like
it a trauma bond
or okay, more trauma bond is more of like if you guys have similar experiences,
Right.
and you bond that way. But what it boils down to, I think, is unknowingly that you go back to what you're familiar to. You unknowingly, even subconsciously, you go
Right.
back to what you're familiar to,
right?
until you realize that really has no place in my life. Like I've gotten older and I realize, you know what I'm saying, cracking people in the head with rocks, or you know what I'm saying, or wanting to crack people and I didn't do it. So long to be like, oh, she cracked people in the head with a rock. No, I said that. I put it down.
You can't use a rock there, Joe.
Yeah.
You have to use something that falls away.
Anyway,
Something that breaks away.
something breaks away.
It's
Yeah.
the impact.
Yeah, that would have been hurtful.
I think yeah. So you bonded with these people from your trauma experience.
Yeah, but I think it was just because you're familiar with that. Like, so I gave this example like a while ago. I remember talking to somebody about this, and I said, I grew up in dysfunction. I know how to operate in dysfunction. I didn't know how to operate in a
Normalcy,
functional,
right.
normalcy in a functional household. You throw me in any dysfunctional environment, I'm gonna learn.
Yeah.
I can survive in that.
Right.
Because I've learned
Survive in
coping.
chaos.
Exactly. I've learned coping mechanisms. I've learned this. I've learned that, and I've learned when to lash out, when not to lash out. Or I've learned that if I do X, Y, and Z, I know what this is going to happen. But you put me into a sense of normalcy, and I'm like,
What do I do?
yeah, you know what I mean?
You love me. What are you talking about?
Yeah, you know.
Right.
But in that same sense, I've come to realize those dysfunctional things are triggers for me. So I had to okay, I know how to survive in this. Just because you know how to survive in an environment and it's familiar to you doesn't mean that you're supposed to stay in that.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I was just like, yeah, I can't stay in that. So now I am heavy. Probably over the past, I would say like 4 or 5 years, when I've realized, probably 5, like going on 5, like I'm on fast. Like I've realized, like life is not about just surviving.
Yeah. It's about living.
It's about living and thriving. And what environment will be the most conducive for me to thrive and live in? And I realized I had to step back, and I had to step back and I can't thrive and live in an environment when I know that things are going to upset me.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And to take away those stressors.
Yeah. Like I had to knowingly take them away, and I did a really good job of that.
Mm-hmm.
I was like,
It's hard, I'm sure.
yeah,
It's hard, yeah.
it is absolutely.
Because you're going against everything that you know.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I'm sure that was very hard.
It was hard. Now, and I've learned, and that's why instead of me wanting to crack, like I said, instead of me wanting to crack somebody between their eyes, like I'll be like,
Yeah, I feel the same way. I mean, I didn't crack any. I feel the same way. That you shouldn't do that.
don't crack people between their eyes. If you feel like, oh, yeah, don't crack people. Don't crack people.
Seriously though.
In the head.
But I
at
mean,
all.
in addition to like what you were saying about dating guys, I was thinking about like your dad. Like my dad worked all the time. He was a police officer and he was always at work. 99% of the time. So it's like I think I find guys who are unavailable. That's a trauma, you know, because that's what I know. Not the revelation,
Not
the revelation, not the realization.
No.
But I'm saying I think not all the time, but sometimes I find it easier to deal with guys that are unavailable because I'm used to that. I'm used to guys not being around. I'm used to not right.
Yeah.
I know how to move and maneuver with somebody that's not around. That you look, but I'm also learning that I don't like that. I hate it here. I hate it here. So you know, of course, I would like to not do that anymore. But that was in addition to that's something that you don't think of it as a trauma. But it's a response because
it's a trauma
you're
response.
picking up on something that happened in your childhood or that an event that you know went on or how you lived. So now you're picking up on that.
It's definitely it's a trauma response, and I think the older you get, like the more these realizations that you have.
Mm-hmm.
Like you didn't have that realization in your 30s.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Your 40s. Like you really starting as you get later on in life and as you live. Mother has lived. But you know what I'm saying? As you live and you experience more, then you realize like,
I'm gonna say this. I've always been wise beyond my years. I'm gonna say that maybe I did realize it, but I didn't know how to adjust myself for it. Cause like, you know, I kind of knew that that's what I feel like, you know, cause you've heard this before. Women date men like their dad. So I had to analyze that and my relationship with my dad just to kind of think about that and the guys that I was dating. So I think that I just didn't know how to address it earlier. Yeah. Because I ain't just realized this last week. Because I only been 50 for a year.
Like, I didn't just realize it last week. Did I realize that in my 30s? Absolutely not. I just knew
that you want to crack people in the head.
Yeah, facts. Like, I just knew there was anger, and I've always known where it stemmed from.
Right.
But I never put certain things together until recently.
Right.
You know, and it was like, even something so much as simple as sleep to me. That and peace. And I couldn't understand when I'd be like, I'm heavy on my peace. Like you hear people say it, I'm heavy on my peace. No, I like my peace and quiet. You have to understand. Peace and quiet in that household, especially when Friday night hit, I didn't sleep. The weekends were the worst. Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday, it was like, all right, he's sleeping now. But my dad would like raise hell, like in the house, Friday, Saturday, and like blasting music and like, how much longer we gotta listen to these country music songs? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's going on? And then
Johnny Cash blazing through the house.
You know what I mean? Like these eruptions that were happening. How could you sleep through that as a kid? You can't. your central nervous system's on overdrive. So when Sunday came and it was like this de-escalation, and I'm like, oh, I can finally get to sleep, I would crash. Like, and sometimes I wouldn't. And then I would like remember going to school like on like a Monday, like
a zombie.
yeah, like oh my god.
Yeah, that's hard.
Like
That's
how
hard, kid.
yeah, like how like even through high school. You know what I'm saying? Like I've gotten older and I learned to adjust.
Crack people in the head.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like learn to adjust and mask.
Right.
You know, but there was times when over the weekend I was just like, so yeah, I just want to sleep. Like imagine being a kid and you want to sleep
I can't imagine.
and you can't. Because one, you feel like
You
there's
don't know what's gonna happen.
yeah, like not on my watch, because I gotta be alert. Everything's on high alert. So now I can honestly tell you, I don't want anybody that's gonna make me feel like I have to be alert, on high alert on anything. Anything.
You want to be in your soft era.
My soft girl era. Like I don't want anybody who's gonna make me feel like you're not a safe space. And it doesn't have to be physical abuse. It could just be the level at which you say something to me.
Yeah,
How you raise your voice at me. You're yelling and you're cursing at me. You're saying, even if you're not yelling and cursing at me, if you're saying little snide things,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like
You're jabbing at my
sense of security.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
and then you can't do that and then in that same space expect me to open up to you. Because you just already showed me that you're no longer safe for me. So
Right.
what's gonna happen? I start to reel back in, reel back in, reel back in. And those doors of my heart that used to be like this, that shit going like this. That shit. Then you know those big dungeon doors, those things where the hole like clunk clunk, and that big thing that comes over, it's like clank. You
Yeah.
gotta wheel it down.
Yeah.
It's one of those type of things. And it's all stems from, now we understand as grown women, there's things that impacted us in our childhood that we carry. And it's not, some of that shit is not even us, it's not even ours to
Yeah.
carry. And
Yeah.
you still carry it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and that, my thing was, I will always hope that I've never put any of that generational trauma, triggers, curses on my kids. Like which is why I never could stay in a marriage that was unhappy, that was abusive, verbally, mentally, physically, emotionally, any of this stuff nothing that didn't feel good to me. And some people might look at it as, oh, well, you're gonna take up that times get hard, you take off and run. No. I knew enough to know that I didn't want to repeat that cycle with my kids. I didn't want them to see the arguing and the bickering and the yelling and the fighting, the uneasiness and them not resting. Their home should be a safe place for them to lay their head and go to sleep soundly, regardless of what day of the week it is.
True.
So it was, man, traumas and triggers, man.
So which aspects of your life, that affected your sleep, that affected what aspects, well, you're saying that now you're kind of dealing with that. What kind of coping mechanisms do you feel like you're developing, working on, have used? What kind of things?
Like I'll tell you, I journal, or I'll meditate, I'll journal. Like I start to feel uneasy. We've had this, like I feel, the moment I feel like a little off kilter, I'm like, I'm like, something's again out of balance. It's a balance thing for Libras. It's always been a balance thing for Libras. And I'll just recenter myself. And I'm like, also, I just don't put myself in those positions. I don't put myself in a position to be talked to like that.
Right.
The moment you do, like you might get one, and I'm gonna call. I'm gonna let you. I'm gonna put you on notice because you didn't know about that boundary.
You are formally on notice.
Yeah. Like you got a verbal warning. You're gonna get it right up,
You're gonna
and
get
then you're gonna get
suspension. Yeah, suspension, then fired. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you got a verbal warning. Take that verbal warning and understand that. And then it might be like, I can only say the moment that I actually, somebody says something to me and I physically do this,
Turn your head to the side.
yeah. Or I mentally look at you like this, like in my head I've done this, but I haven't done it, or I've really actually done this. That's like,
Who are you talking?
yeah, that's a sign that it's a done deal at this point. If I have to cock my head to the side and wonder at any moment who you think you're talking to, it's probably more than likely a done deal. But the flip side of that is, there could be a partner out there. I know the person. For me, I've said this, I think I probably said this, I require a lot. While I might not require a lot in a physical sense, like material items, I know what I require because of the traumas and because of the triggers and because of what I lacked emotionally from, like, my dad. I need a high level of emotional maturity, intellect, integrity, accountability, and elevation from a partner. I know, and this is, and these facts, and these are things that I know that I need. And if I know that, I'm never going to put myself in a situation where I know I'm setting myself up for failure if a person exhibits the lack in any of those areas for me.
Okay.
So I'm still like, and then that's the kind of like trial and error. You got to get to know a person.
Sure.
So you tell a person, hey, this is my boundaries. Like, don't talk to him like that. I really don't like to be talked to like that, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, I wholeheartedly apologize. I'm unaware. I'm so sorry. It would never happen again. Until it happens again. And if it happens again, we've had that conversation and that's it. But if you really want to be that partner for me and you say, I'm sorry, that's never going to happen again, and you mean that, and you make that a soft place for me to land, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Then you're the one.
It's never going to be too much for the right person.
Facts. Like, you're never going to be too much of the right person.
Your traumas and your triggers are never going to be, oh, well, you shouldn't do that because of, no.
Yeah.
I've told you what it is because I'm sure that reciprocally, you're going to take whatever their issues are, their traumas and triggers, and you're going to handle them with care.
Yeah. I'll try. Like, you got to let me know, like, what your, like, let me know, what your, like, your traumas and triggers are. Like, it could be something as simple as somebody, like, I don't know, don't jump on me when I'm sleeping. Like, because they might have gotten attacked in their sleep. You know what I mean? Like, somebody was playing with them or something and they might have gotten hurt. And, okay, don't roughhouse with me when I'm sleeping because I don't like to be, like, jump scared or something, whatever. Right. Okay, I know not to come into the room like, hey, when you're sleeping. You have to, it's communication. You have to let me know these things. So I'm learning to let people know these things up front. Immediately, definitely, I'm talking like that.
Maybe not immediately, but
No, just
as it arises, kind of let them know.
just in a conversation. If it happens to be one of the first conversations, I'm like, listen, I'm just to let you know, I am big on respect. And I'm big on how people talk to me, and I'm going to try to talk to you in the most respectful manner, as long as you're talking to me in the most respectful manner. Just so you know.
Do you think that you're healed or on a journey to be healed?
I think I'm on the journey to be healed. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I know. I think
what it is you've identified it.
knowing is half the battle. Remember G.I. Joe? He's like, G.I. Joe.
Okay.
But anyway, it's like knowing is half the battle.
Right.
So that's half of the healing, the half of the journey to healing is knowing what you're up against. Like, you said, hey, you know what, I know my dad was unavailable and I really, I realized this, but I just didn't know how to adjust for that, and now later in life, I know how to adjust for that. Like, you've acknowledged it, now you just have to do the work to be like, yeah, I don't want these unavailable people. Like, I just want the availability. I know I don't like that. I like a person who's more available to me. I'm gonna learn how to deal with a person who's more.
I'm gonna unlearn
Yeah,
what I've already,
learning is easy. Unlearning is hard.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it's the familiar, like you said.
Yeah.
It's easy. It's easier to break a thing than to fix it.
Yeah. Yep. Nobody wants to stay around to fix it because you gotta put the super glue. It's never right again.
You gotta blow it. You gotta hold it together like this to keep it in the
Yeah.
right position
Yeah.
so that don't move out of the space.
Yeah.
So how do we not pass these traumas on to our kids? And you said that you hope that you wouldn't,
Yeah.
that you didn't do that. I don't think that you have, but
I
how do
hope
we,
that I have.
how do people ensure that they don't pass along these traumas or triggers, let it spill over into their kids' lives? Like,
So there was, and I don't know what what account it was, or and you can see it. Like, there was a lady who, well, like, her house was a mess. Like, she had a bunch of kids. They was like living like in squalor on the floor and all this other stuff. And granted, she grew up in that type of environment. So it was the first thing that you would never want to do is, you grew up in that environment. Why would you want your kids to do this? Because there was no healing at all in there. Like, you didn't find love in yourself. You didn't find the right people to love you, to pour into you, and now you are actually passing that on to your kids. At some point in that cycle, there's going to have to be in that bloodline somebody who is going to break that generational curse and that trigger, like that trauma. I realized that part of it when you become a mom, it changes you. Like, you're instinctively, you want the best. Yeah. You want the best for your kids. You want your kids to have better than you have. That's what this generational wealth is. Even not just generational wealth, generational
abundance.
yes, and knowledge.
Thriving.
Yes, it's just not about the money. Each generation is supposed to do better than the next. If you are 5 or 6 generations in and you're still repeating the same cycle and you still living and swallowing the same shit and you still doing this, you're not doing your kids you're doing them a disservice.
Right.
And I know you may be trying, and you're trying your level best.
Right.
But then the kids go and they see that and they're still living in the same conditions that you grew up in, and then it's going to be some of them, hopefully, that will break that cycle. But for me, I just knew. Like, I don't want that aspect, that shadow to be cast on them.
That's fair.
And
So,
now,
even speaking of that, that there's another type of trauma called secondary trauma, where you experience the trauma because you're exposed to somebody else's trauma. That kind of goes in line with that. But when they refer to that, they kind of talk about people that are work in fields like maybe EMT workers or like civil servants. Like, they have those traumas that they see every day. Now, that's not their own trauma. But they go to work every day, right?
And they internalize it, yeah.
So, but I think that it can be applicable to your experience in that, and I think if you keep doing it, that's a generational trauma as well. I think they all kind of tie in hand in hand and go along with it. I don't think that not being aware of what it is, the root cause is. How can you cure something that you don't know? How do you know how do you know how to cure this cancer? We don't know what type of cancer. What is it called?
Yeah.
You can't just shoot radiation at your toe and you got ear cancer.
Yeah.
I'm just making stuff up. But, not to make light of cancer, but,
We're not. But it was just an analogy.
Right.
Yeah. But it is, I hope at some point, and this is my hope for anybody that's healing or on a healing journey, like I gave that example, like the lady who was like, and people were like really mad at her
for getting on social media saying, oh, here's my Amazon wish list, here's this, here's that. So then you have people who were like, oh, let me tell you what you need. I'm going to send it to you. One lady, and I can't remember her thing, and she was saying how she grew up in that. And she was just like, I would never want, and I made sure that my kids would never go in that, because she's like, you have people on there now that just kind of make themselves feel better about looking down on her and her life, saying, oh, I feel, oh, at least I'm not doing that. Let me just send her something to feel better. She goes, she was never healed, and like she never got the love that she needed, or she doesn't have self-love.
Right.
And she was looking for someone to love her, and that she thought having these kids would bring her that. But instead,
she's passing
she's passing how things that happened to her like that in her life, or how she, or her self-love, even if she didn't say grow up like that, or the lack of love and self-love that she has now has caused this trauma for her kids. And I just wish that for anybody that has any healing to do, which I think a lot of people do.
Absolutely.
If
you've lived a life, you have experienced some kind of trauma.
Yeah, exactly.
And you have, some healing to do. It may not be as severe.
It may not be
as
as
somebody
severe.
else.
Facts.
It could be you could have a slight case, or you could have, it could be more deep rooted. You could have coped with it better.
Yeah.
You could be two siblings in the same house who coped with it better in different ways.
Yep.
Everybody is different, but I think that we all had traumas, PTSDs that come from stuff. Again, like I said, I had an accident 15 years ago, and I'm still looking twice
around
before I pull out.
Yeah.
So, and how do you heal from that? Like, that was
It's always gonna be something, because you're always driving.
Right. That's something that was caused by something that wasn't my
your
own.
fault,
But right.
Yeah, I cracked on the head 10 years ago. The 10-year anniversary of that was on 4/10. And I just realized, like, yo, that was 10 years ago that I got cracked in the head. Like, I still got this, like, the scar. That was nothing of my fault. But for the longest, right after PTSD, I didn't know. I went to therapy. Like, why am I having this angst? Like, what's going on? I remember not wanting to go outside. And I remember going to the grocery store, and me was a baby. And feeling like, and I was constantly, like, looking up, thinking something was going to fall, like, off the shelf. And I was constantly in fear that something was going to fall on her, because I was pushing her in the stroller when that happened. And I can't say it's harder to heal from something that's not your fault or your fault, or something perceived to be your fault. But if you're like innocently walking around, you're innocently driving, and something happens and it's completely life-changing, yes. Like,
But think about it. As you were talking, I'm thinking that event happened, and it was something that you felt like you needed to protect somebody that you loved, and you were unable to do it, and something happened. That is inadvertently a trigger from the past. Trigger the past trauma.
Yeah.
In those situations when you were a kid, you wanted to do something, but you were helpless and you couldn't. So they're all kind of intermingled. So now you're an adult, and now you have this child who you're supposed to be protecting, and something happened, and you don't know why you have angst. You have angst because I'm supposed to be protecting her.
Yeah.
And I didn't, and I couldn't. So
yeah, it's a whole host of psychological, physiological,
Absolutely.
emotional, mental, even down to some of your traumas that make you physically ill, that have happened to you, that make you, when you think about those things, your body has a physical aversion. Aversion to it. And you're like, damn, I just think for traumas, the best thing that you can do, and if you can't see it clearly, and if you're the person on the outside looking in, if you see a person that is not seeing the traumas, or you're that friend or family member, like, try to get them help, or or have that conversation. Everybody, I hope everybody, you have that person that you can bounce something off of, or go to.
So that was the next thing, like, what type of support systems do you think people should kind of utilize or reference to kind of help with their trauma. I think first line of defense is your friends and family.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Then
for sure.
if your friends or family the ones that's causing you
True.
that shit, then
Friends
you
and
know,
family, other than the ones
that are
traumatized you.
facts. Other than the ones that are traumatizing you, you know. And then with that, the next thing is usually, you know, if it's some type of counselor, some type of professional, like seek professional help. And then another thing, like if you like, I don't want to sit on somebody's couch, because it used to be such a taboo thing.
Yeah, it used to
But
be
now,
a stigma.
yeah.
There's no stigma attached to it now.
Yeah, especially in our community, it was a stigma, especially even more for men
Oh yeah.
in our community to do the thing. But I did talk to a guy, my accountability partner at the gym. And I was saying to him, I said, hey, let's in conversation about therapy. He was like, no. Oh, no. Black men, we in therapy now. He was like,
We doing the thing.
He said, we doing it. He goes, now, y'all black women, y'all went first. And y'all did it. Y'all led the way. And then you kind of took our hand and you pulled us in.
Right.
And now, he goes, but now it's like a badge of honor. He goes, oh, you in therapy? Oh, you know, you should really, let me hook you up with so.
Right.
And so that was so good to hear that they're going more so now to therapy, because you mentioned therapy to anyone in our community years ago, regardless of male or female, anybody.
Absolutely not.
You're not talking because it was the rule. What happens in this house stays in this house. Don't you open your mouth and go out there telling my business.
Tell my business in the street.
Yeah. And so now we go from that to the generations now where
they stay
in therapy. And I'm not
we're not saying
that is a bad
that's
thing.
a great
That is
thing.
a great,
It's a great thing.
that is
to
a
utilize
great thing.
that.
And I think even as parents, to come from that generation and be raised that way, but then also be sensitive enough for our generation of kids to get them the help when they feel like they need it.
Because you know, you may not be able to actually address some of their issues, so somebody else who went to school for that.
Yeah.
Let me get my deductible and send you over there. So now,
Exactly.
you know, finally, so what do you think, how do you think you can stay away from the things that are causing these triggers? Like, what are some ways to kind of...
Just stay away. I'm like, I don't know. It's really for me, it's really it's not rocket science. If I see something that I know is a trigger for me and I don't feel like how much I may like the situation or the person, or feel like just at some point it felt good at some point, and I will say this, and I will say this until I can't. At some point, if my central nervous system is uneasy around you for any reason, it's a wrap. That's it. That's my gauge. That's my
That's my head tip.
yeah, that's my okay, like, and again, everyone gets a freebie. You get that. We've never had this boundary conversation, but after we've had this boundary conversation, everyone gets a freebie. Because no one wants to feel, at this big old age, I know, no one wants to feel uneasy in a friendship, a relationship, any place.
Right.
When I tell you my peace is paramount, it is my peace is paramount, and it is because of my upbringing. It is because of traumas and triggers. And the more you know, the more you grow. Like,
That's true.
so I just know those are the things that I have to stay with. I don't care how good the situation looks. I don't care. I got C.
I guess.
I got C.
I gotta see.
My central nervous system, I got C. You know what I'm saying? After the first time, my central nervous system, like, I got C.
Right.
Yeah, we
Not sure about that.
we not sure about that. And it is just my guide as to what to stay away from. And, you know, and then the flip side of that is, I might not be someone's cup of tea because of what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because of,
Well, then that's not the one, because again,
yeah.
your tea will never be too much for the right person.
It will never be too hot. Won't
It'll
be too cold. Won't be too
be the right flavor. It'll be all of that.
Facts.
The right beauty.
Facts. Right. You know, pinkies up when you drink it. Too. So I
Exactly.
feel like, thank you.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, but I just, but, and if and I'm going to say this, and if I ever shit on someone's boundaries after you've told me what your boundaries are, release me.
Unhand
Exactly. Release me, because you told me what your boundaries are, and I still went, and I can't blame that on anybody else but me.
Right.
I'm gonna take the L on that and be like, oh, you know what, you're right. I went over there and I did that, and you do what you have to do, because I will do what I have to do.
Facts.
Yeah. So
Facts.
traumas and T squared.
What?
T squared. Traumas and triggers. T to
Oh.
the second power.
I was confused for a second, but that's neither here nor there. So yeah, you guys tell us what you think about traumas and triggers.
Yeah.
Do you have any? Can you relate to any of the ones that we talked about? But acute, chronic, generational, and secondary.
Yeah.
So, any of those that you think you are experiencing or experience again, we're not professionals. So seek some professional help if you.
And we don't
feel
play
as
on
if-
TV either.
We do not. We do not. If you feel like you need to talk to somebody, utilize some of those references that we said, your friends, your family, professionals. So we want to hear from you about those things. And then, as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment.
Yep.
We want you to do all of those.
Yep.
All of the above.
And we appreciate your
We do.
feedback. We do get comments, and we try to get back to people on like YouTube and stuff. We've got like the past one of the episodes, we got like really couple comments that were really good. But we do read your comments, and we do.
We try to be responsive.
We do try to be responsive. So we appreciate you. We appreciate you rocking with us. We appreciate you growing with us. And
Yeah. Thank you for letting us be vulnerable today.
Yeah.
We kind of share some things. So thank you for letting us be vulnerable with you guys, and we hope to see you next time.
Yep.
But
as always, life's not about the destination,
it's about the journey,
and no matter where you are,
that's where you're meant to be.
and here we are. So we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye guys, see you.